thoughts become things, that things are created twice, first in the mind and then in the physical. And so that could be a big, heavy thing to get your head around, right? Especially if things that you don't want to happen happen. I know that I've been in that place before where I thought, well, wait, I didn't want to manifest that. So was my energy so off that I manifested it? And oh no. And then I spiritually shamed myself for manifesting something that I didn't want. And that could be really heady. So what I want to invite you into doing today, tonight, whenever you're watching this, is to allow yourself, for maybe the first time ever, maybe you're used to doing this, but to really feel right now, not later, not in 2 weeks when the thing goes through, not when you have the perfect relationship or job or the money in the bank, but right now. Bring your hands to your heart and just feel. What do you feel right now? So I feel my heart beating. I feel excited. It can also be a thought that can translate into anxiety or excitement. Depends on where I allow it to be from my head. I also feel there's some fear. There's always fear of the unknown. But then when I get into the excited, it's just excited. I was with a student the other day who was going through something, and some people who she really loved were leaving. And so she was really sad, feeling devastated. And I said, but how can you feel the devastation? Why would you feel the sadness? And she's like, well, because they're gone. And because I said, no, but those are all the story about what happened and facts. But why would you feel devastation? And she said, because I love them. That's the feeling. Not that devastation isn't real, but the feeling that caused, like, oh my gosh, this person is leaving and so I'm hurt and sad, is love. So if we can return to that, but see, our head goes, no, because now it's really scary and it's terrible. And you can be in that for a minute, but the real thing is the love. We're not taught that. We're taught to protect ourselves from love. Don't say you love somebody. You know, that we have all this time in the world to do that. It's not true. If you love somebody, say it. Be with the real feelings of what's going on, whether it's a friend, family member, somebody you just met. We're so scared of going into that feeling. It's much easier to go into devastation, fear, because the collective is there. Something that I love about what I teach inside my acting classes, the Meisner technique, it teaches behavior. And the reason I love it is because it cuts through all of the story and it goes right to the moment. Because as an actor, it doesn't matter what the story is. You don't play the story. You play the moment. Good acting is very alive. It's in the moment. The actor even maybe doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. That's alive and exciting. A lot of actors don't want to work that way. They want to know everything that's going to happen. They want to have everything absolutely rehearsed. No magical new moments, because that's scary. But you're never going to be really moved deeply by an actor who performs that way. You might like it and it might be okay, but the actors that really touch your heart are ones who are totally in it. That doesn't mean they didn't rehearse. That doesn't mean that they don't have the lines and stuff like that, right? It doesn't mean you don't prepare for your life, but it means that they're open to possibility. They're open to magic happening on screen, magic happening on stage. That part we can't. That's in the moment. So in the Meisner technique, we talk about just behavior. We go moment to moment with behavior, which essentially is your feelings. Our head will say, no, I'm not scared, while your body is shaking. Or your head will say, I don't like that person, while your body is saying, I love you. Your head says, no, I can't say that because X, Y, Z, and that means this, and then that's attached to that, and there's rules about this sort of thing. And your heart is saying, I want to say this to somebody because I love them. What if you adopted the idea that this moment is all there is? Would you be different? Would you treat relationships different? And you say, well, Lea, you can't do that. We have to plan for the future. We have to plan for the future. Well, all this planning for the future has really put us in our heads and taken us out of the moment. And guess what? That future never comes. Because all you have is this right now. That's it. All we have is this moment, and we're so scared of it, planning for some other moment. Oh, you can't be just right here, right now. That's irresponsible. We think it's more responsible to live in our head, to have conversations in our head, to mindlessly go around and not connect with people, not tell people nice, wonderful, loving things. Oh, they're a stranger. I can't say that. They're a family member who I had an argument with. I can't say that. They're a family member. We don't express ourselves that way. I can't do that. But what if you just trusted your heart and remembered that you're here on this planet for a short time and you don't know when your time is up? And that's not to be threatening or scary or doom and gloom. It's a place of liberation. So in Shavasana, in yoga, at the end of class, you lie in corpse pose, final resting pose, a meditation on your death. Not because you're like, oh, after yoga, it'd be nice to get really depressed, think about dying. The reason that all the yoga classes end that way, because it's like a rebirth. You've gone through that whole time of being in the moment, in your body, in your breath. And then to come to this final resting pose where you can meditate on your death so that you can really live. I know so many times in my life that I have been inauthentic because of what my head said. Because of some book that I read that was like, you better be like that, especially like when it comes to dating and stuff. Oh, you gotta be the bitch. You gotta be like this. You have to be mysterious. You have to be that. Nothing teaches you your heart. Not nothing. There are people and books that do teach you to follow your heart, but that's not the mainstream. So there have been times in my life when, I was just around my niece and she had just broken up with a boyfriend. It was like her first real significant relationship boyfriend. And it was funny because she's like, I asked her about her boyfriend. She said, oh, we broke up. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Is it tough? How are you feeling? And she goes, well, you know how it is. I was like, yes, I do. I'm the expert. So I joke about that, but I'm actually am like an expert in that. I'm an expert in listening to your heart because there's been so many times when I didn't. And there's been times when I've had breakups where I was like, man, I didn't listen to my heart there. Maybe it would have gone a different direction if I was out of my head and out of fear and just in my heart. So now I've decided to just go in my heart. Whether I'm single or with somebody, I want to be in my heart. Because my heart is the relationship I'm going to have my whole life. And then I know I'm okay. So we've been tricked to think if you follow your heart, you're going to be in trouble. And you better protect yourself. And you better know exactly what's going to happen. But nobody knows what's going to happen. Ever. So you have a business adventure. You have this big creative idea. And you go, I really want to do that. But I can't because my head, and so said, and blah, blah, blah. And what happens when you do that is you will attract all the people, places, and things that reflect what's going on in your head because thoughts become things. So regardless of what the situation is, whether it's business, romantic, friendship, family, come into your heart. Sometimes it isn't to say I love you. Sometimes it's to set a really clear boundary. But are you operating out of fear or out of love? How do we do that? Take a deep breath in and out. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, how do I feel? We run away from that all the time. I don't know how I feel. People say that to me all the time in classes. I don't know how I feel. Not after they've gone through the Meisner technique, of course. But before then, I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. Because we're not taught that our feelings are to be trusted and we can feel with our heart, and that they change moment to moment. We attach to a story. One moment you could be upset, and the next moment you could be super happy if you allow yourself to be in the moment. But if you're following your head, then you get in a mood. Then you get in depression, because in one moment it was sad, one moment it may be even traumatizing. But there's a new moment, and a new moment, and a new moment. But when we get attached to that one moment, and then we make up stories about the future or the past, and we forget all about right now, because right now isn't as important as some other time, that's when we have anxiety. Because you cannot live in the future. It's impossible. You cannot live in the past. It's impossible. You can only be here right now. And a lot of times when I have had anxiety, I realize right in the here and now, I actually don't have anxiety. The anxiety is coming from trying to figure out the future, trying to figure out the past. I don't know what to do right now. But if you could just feel right now, even if it is anxiety, go, okay, well, what does anxiety feel like? Be like a scientist and dissect it. Go, okay, my heart is racing, I feel hot, I'm sweating, whatever it is. Go to the symptoms, not the story. Oh, I'm really upset because this happened. No. Go to, I feel hot. I feel tired. I feel excited. And then stay with that and keep asking over and over, because it's going to change moment to moment if you're honest and not holding on to a story. I think some people get scared of this because then they go, well, maybe I wouldn't even feel the same way about my husband or wife if I was really honest with my feelings. So that's not safe. I got to be disciplined. Be disciplined in your emotional intelligence. Be disciplined in following your heart, your real heart, not your head. Because when we sift that away, you'll realize so much of the time your head is making decisions. Fear is making decisions. So I've been working a lot with this energy. Is this fear or is this love? Is this fear or is this love? Even with my business, I shared with you last time that I had trouble with my email, and then another email thing happened. I had Bluehost as a server and the entire thing went down. So I'm not getting emails, I'm not sending emails. It's really not great. But then I had to sit there and go, okay, is this fear or is this love? This fear says, oh my gosh, the business is going to shut down. Nobody's going to think you're active anymore because they can't get a hold of you with the email and it's bouncing back and all these things. That's fear. But when I go into the love, I go, it's okay. No, I don't love this situation. But I can go into love and all that fear dissipates. I go into love and I send out love, and I think, the people who are meant to come into contact with me right now, who I'm meant to help through my coaching or teaching, are going to find me somehow. I don't know, but love is that powerful. The universe is that powerful. Sure enough, a person who I had tried to email and it wasn't going through, but I didn't know, That's the other thing. I didn't know my emails were going through, so I just think people aren't responding, which I'm not trying to like, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Right? And then sometimes people would send me emails and same thing. So it went through. For some people, it bounced back. But when I get into the love, I go, it's okay. It's going to work out. It is working out. It's always working out. There was a time when we didn't even have email. I know that's how the world works now, but it's still okay. And then my phone rings. We do have phones still. Then my phone rings, and it was somebody who, wanted to work with me and who's signing up for class. And we had a wonderful conversation. And I said, you know what? You're exactly the type of student that I want. Because he emailed me, it bounced back. He said he emailed like 5 times, it bounced back. And then he said, he looked at the YouTube and was like, oh, she's alive. Everything's good. And then he called me. I said, that is the type of person I want to work with. That is the type of person who is heart open and willing to go into the unknown. Sure, he had a fear. He told me he had a fear. He's like, I don't know if you shut down or what the heck. But he moved past that fear into the love of what he wanted to do, which is take class. Then sometimes we sign up for the class and then you go back into the fear, right? And that's why it's a practice. You go into the big business adventure and then the fear comes up and you go, oh, this isn't the right decision then because it's fear. Ask yourself, is the fear coming from my head or is it in my heart? Is it happening in this moment? Is my business unraveling in this moment? No. Some people are emailing and I can't email back and they don't know what's going on. But I'm going to step into love because the fear is going to create more of that. So that's what I invite you to do. Today, all week, all month, the rest of this year, the rest of your life, to keep asking, is this fear or is this love? Is this fear or is this love? You can apply that to everything. You could be going through a breakup and say, is this fear or is this love? How do I want to be in this breakup? In fear or love? How do I want to be in this new business endeavor? In fear or love? When I had my daughter, becoming a single mom, and all these things, a lot of people were putting fear on me. And when you're pregnant, you have hormones and things. I had some doubts. I didn't know. I didn't know if I could be a mom. I didn't know if I could do these things. So when people were reflecting that back to me, saying, I don't think you can do it, and I think it's impossible and all this stuff, there were moments of fear. I was like, maybe I can't do it. Maybe I can't. And then I would step into love. And it was the most natural thing in the world. And is it hard? Of course, there are challenging days. There are really challenging days for everybody doing anything that you love. But I love my daughter. So the love squashes the fear. We were listening to my friend Kyle Cease, actually, on his video of just recently. I forgot what it was called, but he was talking about, how in early childhood, oftentimes we discover that we're unlovable, and so then we start making decisions based off that. So that's where we start getting in our head, oh, I'm not going to do that again. Oh, when I wore that, somebody didn't like me, or when I said that, or when I was honest, so I'm not going to do that. And so we start doing that. We play that game with ourselves. And my daughter had heard me listening to it, and she said, unloved? What is that? What do you mean unloved? I don't like that. And I said, well, yeah, honey, that's a hard thing, but have you ever felt unloved? And she said, well, yeah. And I was like, really? Even though you have so many people around you that constantly say they love you, and I say it like 1,000,000 times a day and show you, shows of affection, and also just we do things, we connect, we have all these things, and yet you still feel that? I said, why? And she said, well, duh, because I'm human. She always cuts right to it. Duh, Mom, because I'm human. She's 5, if you don't know, haven't been listening to other videos. So I thought that was really profound. It's a human thing. I said, so what do you mean? She says, well, when we were all in God, she always talks about like that. When we were all in God and just light before we come into human, she's 5 and talks like this, by the way. She said, then we were just all love and we remembered. But when we come in and we're human, we forget. We start forgetting, so we feel unlovable, no matter what people do. I thought, wow, that's really profound. And then we get into the fear. And then we start making decisions based off that fear, right? I'm unlovable. I'm not going to do this. I'm unlovable if I do that. I'm unlovable if I open up. I'm unlovable if I take a risk. That's all fear. Nobody's going to trust me if my email's down. No, my website even went down. No one's going to trust me if my email and my website goes down. Fear, fear, fear. That's all factual. That's all things that are happening. The email's down. The website went down. But that's fear. And what does that do for me? Nothing except create more anxiety. So I can feel it for a moment and then go, okay, what is the love? What do I want to give? How do I want to be of service? What do I want to do with my life? How do I want to be in this moment right now, even with fear? So I invite you to choose love over and over. Go into your body. I can always tell when somebody's in their head because I say, how do you feel? And they go like this. I don't know. Maybe it's on the ceiling somewhere. I'll figure out how I feel up there. Up in your head. Your head is great for many things. Figuring things out, making plans. It's not good for making your heart decisions. Let it make the plans later. It doesn't mean to always make plans. It doesn't always mean to try to protect you from some scary future. Just be here now and be in love, and that's going to protect you the most. That's the lie we've been told, is that we can't trust that. It's more dangerous to trust your head over and over and over and never trust your heart to the point where somebody asks you, how do you feel right now? And you say, I have no idea. I don't know. I'm so disconnected from my feelings. And there's a lot of reasons why we do that too. I mean, I've had students come to me who have been surgeons and social workers and all sorts of people, police, who are trained to not feel because you can't be breaking down every moment. But again, to go into the love, even if you're dealing with something traumatic, you can go, well, that hurts because I love. So whatever's happening in the world, whatever's happening in your life, I invite you to just ask yourself, am I working out of my head, fear-based thoughts, stories, or am I in this moment? How do I feel right now? You got this no matter what you're going through. Because we can do it with excitement, we can do it with dread, we can do it with trauma, we can do it with triumph. Love, love, love is always the answer. I'm sending you so much love. Your life is right on time. You've got this. You got this. Return to love. Please let me know if there's other videos that you'd like me to do, meditations or talks. I want to be of service to you. Make a comment. Let me know how this resonates with you. If you've ever operated out of fear or of love. Right now we're going through many shifts, but we always are since the beginning of time on the planet. So whether you want to call it ascension or the moon or whatever, we're always going through stuff. It is called being human.